Evening to you here on Midnight Movie Talk. I am Eric Weber, or Maverick Weber. I'm so excited about Top Gun Maverick, which we talked about the other night, and we'll talk about more in a little bit here. But I want to get right to our top story. On this Thursday night, Midnight Movie Talk, we are discussing The Flash and the test screening reaction. Let's discuss how test screenings work. Before we get into the actual the deets, as it were, of the actual Flash test screening, let's talk about how a test screening works. For those of you unfamiliar with how the whole system works here in Los Angeles, studios hold test screenings of films that they want to get the reaction for, right? Usually it's kind of a rough cut, okay? It's a general, structure of the film that's going to be released whenever it finally gets released. In this case, The Flash, as we know, is not until 2023. That said, they have an idea of the film that Andy Muschietti wants to make, and here it is. So we're going to show it to a very general audience. Now, when they pack these things full of people, they don't want industry people in there. So you don't want to have people in there that are, tied to the industry. So you don't want people that are, entertainment journalists like myself, or perhaps movie reviewers or anyone like that. They really want to get people in these screenings that are just the average person. So that said, I have someone who was at the Flash test screening on Tuesday. They came out of it and send me some details. Now, one thing I want to say about test screenings more, as it's trying to explain how this works, is that the version you get is not always the version you're going to end up with at the end. So what you end up discussing tonight could not happen. That said, I'm very confident with the nuts and bolts of this film, of Flash. Here's what I know. The number one thing that I have not said until tonight is that my source tells me directly that this will change everything with the DCEU going forward. And that's a pretty big statement to make when you think about that, right? This is a film that is going to change everything in the DCEU going forward. And if you think about where we're at in the DCEU, we know that now that Discovery has taken over Warner Brothers and you have this hybrid Warner Brothers Discovery, you have a situation where they really want to create, the new Warner Brothers wants to create a Kevin Feige-ish character, leader of the DCEU. To do that, you have to have one person in charge of everything that is occurring within the DCEU. Obviously, that's what Kevin Feige does for MCU, for Marvel. So they're looking for that. What I'm hearing out of The Flash is, as it will change everything in the DCEU, is that this sounds like we are really whittling this into something that we can go forward with through multiple films. Okay? Yes, Michael Keaton is in this film. You knew that, okay? But did you also know that the majority of the Justice League is apparently in this film? That is a bombshell. That is an interesting thing, and that speaks to what we just talked about with the DCEU. They want to create something that they can push forward for future projects, like Kevin does with Marvel. So we shall see. One thing that's very important to note here about this film is my source telling me that this is in the realm of the Batman quality. And if you look at what Andy Muschietti has done from Mama back in 2013 to obviously It Chapter 2, you're talking about a filmmaker who is very stylized. I like what he does. I like the vision of what Andy presents. I think this might finally be where we have it in control and really focused, laser focused towards what they're trying to get done here. And I think another thing obviously is very important is Ezra Miller. At this point, he's in the film. He is the Flash. Will they recast it? No, they're not going to go back and reshoot this entire movie. What Warner Brothers wants out of this is to get distance from Ezra Miller and what happened in Hawaii. And obviously the video footage just went out last night, right? Of him getting arrested in Hawaii. So they need time. So this test screening is a full, we're not looking until 2023 for this film. They're trying to get an idea of how good this film is. And based on what I'm being told, it's very strong. That's great. They still need the other half of this to really come together, and that is Ezra Miller to stay clean, because right now he's on the border of being canceled. You think about it. I mean, he's so close. I mean, he chokes the girl in the bar, right? You guys have seen that video from back during COVID. And then you talk about what happened weeks ago in Hawaii, and then again. And it's like, Ezra, just keep your nose clean. Stay on the upside. Do not go crazy like this. I mean, the kid really needs to have guidance, and I think he's got to be taken away right now and put into basically solitary confinement. I mean, Warner Brothers has to get him away from his demons, because if there's another incident with Ezra Miller, there's this film, we may never see this film, because right now it hangs in the balance. And what Warner Brothers wants is time. They need time for this thing to ferment, get it away, let it go, let it just fade off into the distance, so that when this film comes out, people are like, yeah, Ezra Miller, we remember the stuff he did, but it's not as fresh. It's not as hot as it was, as it is now. That's what Warner Brothers wants. And hopefully that'll happen. I just really pray, honestly, I do, that this kid, Ezra, because he's such a talented actor, finds his peace for the next year, at least until this film comes out. And then beyond that, I mean, we really wish the best for him. He is truly a great actor. If you haven't seen some of his work outside of The Flash, you really need to. Go back and watch Perks of a Wallflower. I mean, that's where you see a star. You see a star in Ezra Miller when you watch Perks of a Wallflower. So we can talk more about The Flash and that when we get to the comments. I want to get through the basic stuff we're going to talk about here, the bricks, the nuts and bolts of tonight's show, and then we'll get into the comments, and that's where you guys can ask me questions. I'm open to answer as much as I can about them. Let's also talk about this, that Doctor Strange has now hit 532 million worldwide, did so today. Internationally, it goes over 300 million. So you're looking at a film that is creeping, right, quickly, 500 million already. Can it get to 1 billion? We're going to find out. I always say, whenever we talk about this film getting to 1 billion, or any film getting to 1 billion, China is in a state of lockdown, so that's an issue. We're not going to have that market. Russia, we know what's happening with Ukraine. They're out. That said, this is going to have the legs, and we're going to see this weekend what happens with Doctor Strange. Right now, I think it goes down at least 60, maybe 65%, because the word of mouth, that B+ cinema score, really has me worried about this film. Although Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday were pretty good. Monday, Tuesday better than Wednesday, and they hope, Disney hopes that it continues throughout the weekend. Also, I want to mention, and I didn't even get a chance to change my graphic because I literally jumped on this thing tonight, coming out of FIRESTARTER. FIRESTARTER's terrible, okay? It is legitimately putrid. But what makes FIRESTARTER entertaining, and it is entertaining in really a campy way, is the fact that it is so ridiculous with the dialogue. And I mentioned on Twitter the incinerated cat. Now let me state something. A cat burning is not necessarily funny, okay? That's not what the joke is. If you see FIRESTARTER, when you see what happens to the incinerated cat, that is where you say, this is camp. This is ridiculous. What just happened? What movie am I watching? FIRESTARTER is truly putrid. And as I do that, I want to get a quick look and see if anyone is recommending this film. Could someone be saying that FIRESTARTER is a good film? Let me pull up Rotten Tomatoes. We'll get it up here, and we'll look and see where we are on the reviews for this film. Remember this, Universal did not show this film to anybody before tonight. They basically sent links to critics, and or you had to go to the theater to see it. Okay, it's at 50% right now, which means there are 50% of critics. I do not want to watch the trailer. Could you please go away? I don't want to watch. I don't really watch the Lost again. Get out of here. Now I got to reload Rotten Tomatoes. 50% means that there are 50% of critics who say that this is a good movie. How is this possible? Who are these people? And immediately we need to retract your critic card if you are saying that FIRESTARTER is a good film. We are in real trouble. You can't say that. I got to see who it is. It's taking me a moment. This Rotten Tomatoes is not intuitive. I just want to see the results. I don't want to watch your damn trailer, Rotten Tomatoes. Here we go. I think I'm finally at the point where this movie's going down as I talk. It's down to 44%. In the time that it took me to go from literally get the tab up to now, it's dropped 6 percentage points. In the time it took me to get this screen up on the Midnight Movie Talk screen, you see it's now at 44%. There are 9 reviews. Let's see. I have to absolutely go after whoever says this is a good film. Let's scroll down. And okay, Perry says bad, rotten. Richard, bad, good. All these. Holy hell, Patrick Kavanaugh, an engaging enough allegory for explosive emotions that hits the necessary beats yet fails to bring anything new to the table. 3 out of 5. Holy hell, dude. What are we doing here? 3 out of 5? Another 3 out of 5. Peter Gray, another 3 out of 5. 4 out of 5? Oh my God. I don't follow Eric Eisenberg, but now I know why I don't follow that guy. Are you kidding me, dude? That's a shit review. Go ahead. Take this and use it. You cannot give Firestarter 4 out of 5. This is an abomination. Wow. I'm speechless. It is time for comments. I can't even do any more of this. When I see that, I just go, what is going on here? Let's get back into The Flash. Lonely Lizard, good evening to you tonight. I hope Warner Brothers has not cut out any of Ben Affleck's scenes as Batman from the Flash movies. Says they are the best scenes he's ever done as Batman. I hate for Warner Brothers to screw him over 3 times. Listen, I can't state exactly all the details, as I said, but I will say this, that again, Justice League makes an appearance. That's really exciting. And I really love where Andy Muschietti's head is as a director, and I think that hopefully this is the one that gets him there. I think It Chapter 2 is not great. I was not a huge fan of everything in It Chapter 1, and I like Mama. Mama's his best film. But again, this is great news. Give me Men After Midnight. Are we talking about Men, the movie Men? I have not seen it yet. That's next week. I cannot speak to it yet, but we will get to it. Beantown Brandon, good evening to you. I can't wait for The Flash. I know Andy Muschietti is going to deliver a multiverse movie done right. That's what I'm hearing out of the test screening. It's very good news. That's the bottom line here tonight, is that it's very good news out of the test screening that I'm hearing. And I'm sure Warner Brothers is super stoked. The only reason I'm seeing The Flash is for Batfleck. I hope they don't cut his scenes out. Again, with these test screenings, you get the test screening, and then what ends up happening is you have, the studio goes back in, and they look at all the comments, right? They're going to look at this, and they're going to cut the film and whittle it down to whatever that is. And they're going to use the comments constructively to make their edit. So if let's say that 75% of the people who saw the movie last night Tuesday night on their sheet said that they didn't like Character X, guess what? Character X is either eliminated or Character X is limited. Boom, crushed down. So that's how test screenings work. They use the comments on multiple test screenings usually, but certainly one could work. If you had a good audience and you felt like it worked, then you're going to listen to the comments and you're going to constructively reshape your film to reflect the comments and get more of what they like and less of what they dislike, because that's what you're trying to do ultimately. Let's go to Drew. Good evening to you, Drew. I hope Ezra gets help, man. Exactly what I just said a few moments ago. He's great as the Flash. He's a very talented actor, but he's very troubled. I think that's fair to say. I think he needs to get away from his demons, just literally sit in serenity now for a long time, and hopefully that's enough time for the movie to get out and it gets that time that they need. Warner Brothers needs space. Warner Brothers needs to put Ezra in rehab for a year. I mean, honestly, Lonely Lizard, that's what I said. They really need to think about putting him somewhere where he can be, just heal himself, right? Heal himself so that he can get back into being a good actor. I feel like he is that, but there's clearly stuff going on behind the scenes that need to be taken care of before he continues working. Let's go to what aspect of The Flash is similar to the Batman: story, cinematography, pacing. Anishiraj, good evening to you. I think that here's the thing. Well, first of all, the runtime is about 2:30. which means it's a little shorter than Batman, obviously. But that you can usually go. Usually, you're going to go shorter. You don't usually go longer after a 2:30. The first screening, like Batman's first screening, I believe is 3.5, and they got it down to 3. So let's say it's 2.5 tonight or Tuesday night, and then they're going to crush it down to 2 hours. Maybe it's 2:30. I mean, look at It Chapter 2, very long film. Obviously, at this point, I imagine Andy can get away with most of the stuff that he wants to get away with, so the runtime's not going to be an issue. I think I can answer this for you right now, Nishraj. When you look at Andy's film, cinematography is strong, so I know that's going to be there. Pacing is the number one thing that the studios want to get right in a test screening. They're going to ask you, first thing they ask you on a test screening, how did the film move from the very first few frames, right? The opening of the film, how does that go? How's the middle go? And how's the end go? They want to know if the pacing is consistent and does it drag. So that's something they're going to have to figure out. I'm going to have to talk to my source more in detail about the pacing, but in general, listen, when you say it's up here, the Batman, quality-wise, that tells me the pacing worked. We can all say Batman is very much of a slow burn. It is a cinephilic film, and I think what Andy, the artistic space that Andy works in is not totally dissimilar to Matt Reeves. I'm not suggesting they're the same filmmaker by any means, because I think Matt's very specific. But that said, I think that we have a situation where you have to know that he's a quality director, and ultimately that is going to show with this film. And when Source tells me that it is in the same realm as the Batman, that means the direction's strong. That has to be the same, because direction is strong in the Batman, and direction should be strong here with the Flash. Did your source give you a runtime? Yes, 2.5 hours. Drew, 2.5. So 2:30 is the runtime of this film, and that is, again, it's rare you're going to see a test screening come in at, let's say, 3 hours, and it becomes longer. It usually goes lower. So now we're at 2:30. Let's say they get it down to 2:15. It could end up being 2:30. I mean, there could be stuff that's not in this test screening that they add. There's stuff, right, that's left on the editing floor that when they go back and hear that the audience really loved, let's say, Wonder Woman in this film, then they can add more Gal Gadot, right? You can do more of that. So that is something they're going to look at here for this, is what parts work, where can we extend, where can we cut, and you've got plenty of time. This film's not coming out in a month, okay? So that you've got time to get the film right. Back to Beantown Brandon. So proud to hear this news. I'm a big fan of Muschietti, and to hear him do excellent work is rewarding to hear. Yeah, I think, listen, again, he's an up-and-coming filmmaker, even though at this point he's got 2 huge hits with It and It Chapter 2, and even Mama was a big hit. I mean, Mama, I believe, made $130 million off like a $14-15 million budget. That's what got him going. Del Toro saw his short for Mama, and that's how he really got connected, was when Guillermo came in and said, hey man, I give you my blessing, I'm going to godfather you into this. Then that's where Andy took off, and then Warner Brothers got him in for It, loved what it saw, and then of course, as you know, once you're in the system, that's how studios like to operate. When they know your work as an actor or a director, producer, they're going to keep working with you, because if you're successful, they want to work with you. I mean, that's Hollywood. It makes perfect sense, right? Let's go back to, let's see, where are we here? Let's see, give me a second here. Lonely Lizard. I think Doctor Strange, The Multiverse of Madness will hit $1 billion worldwide by the time of the release by either Top Gun Maverick or Jurassic World Dominion. I think it hits $1 billion, but slowly. It's going to be close. I think ultimately, if it doesn't hit $1 billion, you're going to be somewhere in the 900 million range. Batman stalls out at about 765, so this should be above that. It's MCU. You got more kids that can come to this. It's still not a 4-quad family film, right? We know that, but it's also not an R-rated film. Batman is closer to R-rated film than Doctor Strange 2. Therefore, this film should be above that number, so let's put it at least 900 million. Does it get to $1 billion? We're going to find out. That is the question. Oh, God. Paul is on the stream tonight. Paul went with me to see... He went with me to see the unbelievably, horrifically campy, let's just be kind to it as much as I can, to go see Firestarter tonight, and Paul was there, and there was okay. I got to tell the story, Paul. Why did you do this? I didn't want to even tell the story. So the movie's hilarious. The incinerated cat scene in Firestarter is literally riotous, not because of the cat getting killed, but because of the dialogue and the fact that the cat gets incinerated not once but twice. Anyhow, I start laughing. Like, I'm talking laughing like I haven't laughed in a film since maybe Tropic Thunder, okay, which is a comedy, as you guys know. So when I start laughing, I'm not thinking, we're laughing. It's a funny movie. It's terrible. It's really bad. Firestarter, 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 stars. Oh my God, that's funny. I'm never going to forget that I saw that. 4 out of 5 stars for Firestarter. Wow. Okay, so gather your thoughts. And this older man came at the end of the movie. He came down and he was like, "You guys were being loud." And I was like, "I actually hate that when people do that." So I wasn't trying to specifically be loud, like laugh at the film, but it was so bad that it was legitimate. It wasn't like I was just literally laughing at the film. It's funny. But yeah, so the older gentleman was not thrilled with our laughing at Firestarter. But it's that kind of film. It's that kind of campy, hilarious, and unintendedly humorous, right? Not supposed to be. Space Jam 2, a 4 out of 5. Oh my gosh, that's good. Back to Paul. Even the Flash couldn't save Firestarter. That's probably true. Nothing could save this film other than not making the film at all. This is just not good, and this is why Universal threw it onto Peacock, right? They threw it on Peacock at the same time that it was in theaters. They're like, just get it out of here. This movie's terrible. Drew, thank you for bringing this up. We talked about it tonight. Scott Mendelson gave Top Gun Maverick a 5 out of 10. That is an LOL. Sometimes, and I love Scott. Okay, I know Scott. But I gotta say, he's totally wrong on this. Mendelson is so wrong on Maverick. He couldn't be more wrong. Try 9.5. Not at least a 9. But I mean, minimum 8. Minimum 8. And he's at a 5. I love you, Mendelson, but you're wrong on this. I'd love to have a debate about this. I don't know what he didn't like, but it just isn't a 5 out of 10. And he's like one of the only ones. So that is definitely not. I'm sorry. I can't do it, Scotty. I can't. Aaliyah, hey. Sorry about any drama you see about the Flash. I don't care. That's so funny, Leah. You know what's great? I just honestly do not care about that. Like, literally, Twitter's hilarious. It's like, are you kidding me? Do you think that I give a crap about what some rando or frankly anybody says? If you care about what someone else says about you, it speaks more to them than you. So for me, it's like, who cares? Are you kidding me? Here's an idea. Go out and do something rather than be a critic all the time. And trust me, that's what I'm doing here. But I also don't just do this. I don't sit around all day and watch movies. You guys know I do other things. Okay. Gym, volleyball, teach. I've done all kinds of things in my life. So, for those of the people who want to criticize, go for it. It does nothing for me. You're doing nothing to me. So just enjoy that. So Leah, the fact that you say, "I'm sorry, drama," are you kidding me? Good for it. For me, I did laugh at these people. They're funny to me because half of them, more than half, and you know this too, more than half of them, if you were to unveil behind the avatar, you'd be like, yep, I get why you're critiquing everybody. The Fantastic Beasts films haven't helped Ezra. They are bad, man. That last one was not good. I mean, it was really a snooze fest. I think that franchise is over. They've got to put themselves way past this. They got to get back into Harry Potter, into Hogwarts, because that didn't help him either. I agree. Ezra needs to get his head on straight. It's really that simple. Yeah, Gingy, a mad film Twitter person. Oh no. Oh my gosh. How am I going to get through the rest of my night or tomorrow? How am I going to get through my next screening or my next stream? There's a person who's being critical. Give me a break. Get out of here. Like I care. A lot of stuff on streaming this weekend. JT, tell me what else there is other than Firestarter, which is, as we mentioned, really a terrible film. Again, unintentionally campy. It's very funny. It shouldn't be funny, but it is. I recommend the film as a comedy. How about that? I do. The Flash is going to be a good film. Won't put it up there with the Batman until we all see the film next year. Of course, I mean, it's the first test screening, so and it's one source. It's not. I don't have multiple people that have seen the film. I need to see it myself, but it's a good start, right? It's better than hearing it's terrible, because I've heard that too about films. I heard that Firestarter was really terrible in a test screening, and it is. The film's not good. So there's that. So usually the test screenings, you can't cover up everything in a test screening. Usually it's going to show all the warts. So if he says the movie's really good, that's a wonderful thing to hear. All right, can you share anything from the source to give us DC fans something to salivate over? I can, but you know what I'm going to do, Brandon? Here's what I don't want to do. At the end of the day, what I don't want to do is I don't want to do spoilers, because if I do spoilers, we're going to get into a situation where I just don't think it's fair. I think that you guys need to watch the film yourselves, and I don't think it's fair to be telling you this, and this. I already told you probably too much, and I really don't want to get too much into it other than that. I would just say that it is going to be likely a very good film based on what I'm hearing. Okay. Mendelsohn, no, he didn't. Paul, did Mendelsohn give Firestarter a 7.4? No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Don't make me go back and see if he's in there. Did he review it? I swear to God, Mendelsohn, man, next time I see him and we hang out, because he comes to the movie Twitter events down at AMC Burbank at the Yard House, I will absolutely say to him, "What are we doing here, Scott? What's going on?" Hold on. Where is it? I don't see it. Come on. Don't fool with me, man. Don't mess with me on my emotions like that, Paul. I thought for a minute Mendelsohn actually did. I really did. Nico, hey, what's up, man? Can we get a shout out for the 3-0 Tottenham smashdown? What a beatdown today, wasn't it? I mean, that wasn't even a good game, a good match. It was just Arsenal was completely outmatched across the board. And Harry Kane, that guy, I mean, how do you not cover him up inside the box? That header, like literally the best guy at heading in the entire, one of the best headers in all of football / soccer, and you don't cover him up inside the box. Nice job, Arsenal. Excellent work. By the way, I've got Nottingham Forest on tonight. Nottingham Forest is in the playoffs for the championship. I really want to see them go up to the EPL. So let's give it up for Nottingham Forest, please. Let's have that happen. I think they play on Saturday. Let's go back. Superhero movies. Good evening to you. Fantastic Beasts was absolutely terrible. It is. It's not a good film. And I think calling it absolutely terrible is too kind to the film. It's an abomination. No, it's really just a snooze fest. It's incredibly dull, lifeless, and what a disappointment. And Warner Brothers better pray The Flash isn't like that. And again, what I'm hearing, it's not. And I imagine that's very good. Am I avoiding Men? Chris Gore? No, I have not. I'm not avoiding Men. I haven't seen it. Men comes out next week. I'm going to try to sneak into a critic screening next week. A24. The new one with Jesse Buckley. But I'm hearing that the ending of Men is something that a lot of people are not going to love, including possibly me. So that is maybe why A24 is like, hey, Eric, we don't really need you to see the film right now. You can see it next Thursday when it's out. And maybe that's the case. We'll talk about Men next week. But no, I'm not avoiding Men, Chris. Yeah, I got you. Lonely Lizard, going to Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness for a quick second. I secured tickets and planned out my final 5 of my 10 viewings for the movie to ensure the movie will hit 1 billion. You are the one, Lonely. You're the one going to see this movie. No joke. You've seen it like 6-7 times, right? That's crazy, because this film, I don't know how you're sitting through this film. I had a hard time sitting through it. Like the half time I watched the second time up until when the Illuminati scene, and then I was like, I'm done, I'm out. And that's when I said I got to get out of this film. And so if you've watched it now 6-7 times, that is very impressive. Tremendous dedication from you, Lizard. Tremendous. Hey, good evening to you. I don't know how we say this. I'm going to say Dolce, because I can do that part of it. If you ever come to New York City, next visit, try the IMAX at Lincoln Square. I would love to see that, because maybe it's a real IMAX. I haven't been to New York since I lived in Boston, which was about 7-8 years ago. So I haven't been to New York City in a long time. I would love to see it. The Dolby Burbank, again, best screen in LA. I say it all the time. Hey, JT, the cat scene was very bad from Firestarter. It's not just bad, JT. It's hilarious. right? The dialogue when they say the prayer for the dead incinerated cat. You have to see the film. You've got to go see Firestarter, guys. I hate to say that, you really do, to watch the incinerated cat scene. You have to, just to see it. So JT, it was very bad, but that's what makes it very good. I was dying, like literally on the floor. That's why the nice elderly gentleman came up at the end of the movie and said, "You guys were being loud." I'm like, "I'm so sorry, but it was hilarious, and the movie's terrible." I think he thought it was good. I'm like, "What? What?" Let's go back to gore. Big MMT fan. Thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate that. Will Ezra's antics affect audiences' opinion of The Flash? It's all about this. Time heals all wounds. If Warner Brothers gets what they want here, they're going to get Ezra to stay quiet, stay in seclusion for literally the next year until this film comes out. And when that film comes out, then everyone will largely have forgotten it. It'll blown over, right? You've heard that so many times. It'll blow over. It will. Time heals everything. So I think that's what Warner Brothers wants. They want this thing to just blow over and move on. That's where we're at. So I think that's very simple. A few more comments here, and then we're going to wrap here on this Thursday. Again, guys, I really appreciate it. Like, subscribe, all that stuff anytime here or on Twitter. Few more. Let's see here. Superhero movies are the best movies. Again, Eric, Everything Everywhere was insane. I had a great time watching it. I'm glad you liked it. You know why I don't love it as much? Because it is insane. At the end, it goes too far with the repeat theme, right? Over and over, we're going to beat you over the head with Raccoon Tui. And we saw it. It was funny the first time, second time. 10th time, not as funny. So that's why I don't love that film as much as some of you guys do. But I know a lot of you do. So there's that. And I might be on Eric Island on that. It's okay. I don't think it's a terrible film. I just wish I loved it more. I wish it was restrained more. 0 out of 10 for Firestarter. No, for the incinerated cat scene alone, Gingy, it's a 5.5 out of 10 because of the cat. And because of the campy dialogue, and because it is hilarious, which it should never be. It's not a comedy, but it is riotous. So I give it a 5.5 out of 10. As a comedy, a 6.5 out of 10. A rare double rating for me on a film. Thank you, Chris. I am on fire tonight. Like Firestarter. You saw it too. Chris was in a different theater. And so we saw it at the 6, Burbank 6. He saw it at the 16. And I said, how did the cat scene play? He goes, everyone was dying laughing. I go, yes, they were. That is one of the best scenes of the year. Incinerated cat scene for scene of the year. Without question. When you see it, you will absolutely go crazy. Simon, hey, welcome to the show. Huge buzz building for Top Gun. No question. Folks have already booked it here in New Zealand. Wow. What time is it there? Good God. Is it like tomorrow? It is, isn't it? Like tomorrow? It's been held back so long to the big screen. It was supposed to be out in 2020. So I feel like, people will be like, where's this film? It's finally coming. So you're going to get this film, and you're going to get the best film of the year. Top Gun Maverick is the single best film of the year as it stands right now, not even midway through the year. I've got it number 1. I've got number 2, The Batman, and number 3, I've got to think about that. Got to ruminate. I would say I really like Duel, the Riley Stearns movie, but I don't think that's my number 3. It's a good film. There's something I'm forgetting that I had really highly ranked, and I'll remember it. But right now, it's Top Gun Maverick, Batman. Those are your 2 best films of the year. Top Gun is not going to disappoint. The only person that disappointed was Scott Mendelson. I don't know what he watched, but it was not the same movie I saw. I was just sitting with Scott Menzel tonight, president of HCA. We're good buddies. And he told me he saw the film over in Vegas when they first screened it. Loved it. And he was right, 100%. Really good. Really just rewarding film that average audience moviegoers will love. Top Gun Maverick release everywhere on my birthday, May 27th. Happy birthday ahead of time. From what I hear, I think it's pretty awesome. I have one of the best movies of the year. It will be, Brandon, it'll be one of the best movies of the year. For you. There's no way. You're not going to come out of this movie and dislike it. There's no way. Thank you, Aaliyah. She just reminded me. Aaliyah, it is X. X is actually my number 2. Oh, man. Aaliyah, I can't believe I forgot X. I'm in a real bad spot here because I've been saying that Top Gun Maverick is my number 1 film. Now I feel like I have a with X and with Top Gun Maverick, because X is such a great film. The direction of X, but also the direction of Maverick, really, they're both very well directed. I think the direction on X in what Ty West did with that film is so unique. The vision, some of the choices he made, especially the landslide scene, that direction-wise, X number one. Overall film-wise, I'd probably go Maverick, but they're close. So yeah, my bad. Batman's actually 3. I would say Maverick, X, then Batman. So those are my 3 best films. X is hell yes. You're damn right I did, Paul. I keep forgetting X. Ugh. How do I forget that film? I wanted to see it for the second time. I didn't see it. No question it's top 3 of the year. Yes. Oh my God. I'm just like, bang, bash me in the head with a mallet. Can't wait to see Men next week. I'm warning you, JT. I'm hearing the ending of Men is very much like the ending of Mother. It's an ending that a lot of people are really going to dislike. Okay, that's what I'm hearing from repeated people who have seen Men, that the ending is something that is going to make you really turn against the film. I have not heard anyone who saw the ending of Men and loved it. I heard someone came up to me and said, they know what I like. They go, you're going to absolutely hate the end of Men. And I go, whoa, okay, that's not good. So whatever this is at the end of this film, we're going to find out next week. It's something that is going to have a very visceral, intense reaction from moviegoers. And that is what's going to lead to probably a bad cinema score. Right now, I'll call it. But you guys know A24 films rarely do well in cinema score. Everything Everywhere did. But then you look at Firestarter is going to have a terrible cinema score. And what did I tell you about cinema scores? Whenever it's a bad cinema score, what happens in the film? It's a down ending. Okay? People die. Are you surprised it's Firestarter? Whenever multiple characters die in a film, cinema score is going to be low. Guaranteed. Every single time. In fact, you don't even need to see the film. You can just look at the cinema score and go, oh, it got a D cinema score. People died. That's it. That's a little cheat sheet. Cinema score cheat sheet. Benjamin, hello. Do you need to see the first Top Gun like Maverick? No, I don't think so. I think it'll help you, but I really like how they incorporated the first into the second so that they work almost in synergy, right? And when you watch, you'll see what I'm talking about. There's so much love for the original in Maverick that it comes through. So I don't think you do, but I would recommend you do it. Just watch it. It'll just play better for you, okay? I don't think you have to, but you should watch it. Not a necessity, but you should. Close enough to a necessity. Gore again. Next week, Eric will change the name of the show to Men Movie Talk. Yeah, that would go over really well, wouldn't it? Especially with film Twitter. I'm already someone called me the film Twitter villain. I go, for what? So I'm opinionated? Whatever. Who cares? But yeah, that would go over well. But the name of my new show is called not Midnight Movie Talk. It's called Men Movie Talk. There are no women allowed. Someone will cut that and say that's what I'm going to do. Like, no, we're not doing that. Stop with these terrible ideas, Gore. What's wrong with you? Iron Man 3 walked so Maverick could run. You did it. You had to do it before the stream ended tonight. Someone had to bring up Iron Man 3. You guys know how I feel about that. And for that, the stream's over. Wasim, you ruined it for everybody. You ruined the stream because you brought up Iron Man 3, and I can't even think anymore because that movie sucks. That's going to do it for tonight's Midnight Movie Talk. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll be back here on Sunday night. We'll talk about box office. Not much to talk about there. We'll find some other things, though, I promise you. Because really, you got Firestarter. You got Doctor Strange Weekend 2, which is going to go down minus 60+%. And we've got those things in play. So that is going to be fun to talk about. And finally, Gingy volleyball scene. It's not a volleyball scene. Oh, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. But it is very much like the volleyball scene in Maverick. All right, guys. A wonderful good evening to you. I'll see you on Sunday night. Be good.